The gentleman from South Carolina is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield myself such time as I may consume. And, Mr. Speaker, in closing, I would like to thank Representative Haley Stevens for her work on this resolution. You can tell it's from the heart and working together, again, Republicans and Democrats, and how fortunate we are with the leadership of Congressman Tim Walberg to have this weekend spent the Orthodox Christian Easter weekend in Ukraine, to visit with Lvov, to be in Kyiv, to be in the Bucha region where the atrocities were so horrific, to be on a delegation with Congresswoman Victoria Sparks, who was actually born in Soviet Ukraine, and now she's seen it become a free Ukraine. And so our country is so blessed by the number of Ukrainians who've come to live in our country and then support the maintenance and victory and winning and for freedom in Ukraine. As the world watches in horror at the war crimes and atrocities war criminal Putin is committing in Ukraine, we must also condemn the Russian dictator's practice of exploiting innocent Americans as political pawns. I urge my colleagues to join in supporting this resolution. This will send a strong message to Paul and the other wrongfully detained Americans in Russia that Congress will not rest until they are returned home to their families. I yield back the balance of my time.
The gentleman from South Carolina yields back. The gentleman from Minnesota is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield myself as much time as I may consume for the purpose of closing.
The gentleman is recognized.
I also want to thank my dear friend and colleague from South Carolina for delivering to me a Ukraine-United States solidarity pin that I now wear proudly on my lapel. Freedom is at the core of our American values. It is the backbone of democracy. We have Americans stuck in Russia and around the world being held against their will and without explanation to be used as political bargaining chips. During this time of horrific atrocities, their safe and secure release is all the more imperative. HRES 336 takes action to secure the safety of our fellow Americans, including Brittany Griner and Paul Whelan, who are at the mercy of Vladimir Putin, an evil dictator who has no regard for human life. I hope my colleagues will join me in supporting this bill, and with that, I yield the balance of my time.
The gentleman from Minnesota yields back. So the question is, will the House suspend the rules and